Everyone hear me all right? Morning, good morning. Hope everyone's doing good today. We'll get started here in just a second. What's up, everyone? So we'll get started here in just a few minutes, guys.
Hey, good morning.
Oh, hey Steve, how are you?
Hey, pretty good. How are you?
Good.
Good.
So I'll talk about this, guys, but I had a pre-market trade on GLMD, which I ended up kind of breaking even on. So I'll talk about that. MLGO, crazy stock as always. So GLMD, right idea, just bad timing. Kind of didn't feel like there was much other money flow, so I didn't want to get trapped, but I'll talk about that when we get started here. Hope everyone's doing good today. I saw you went to Universal today, Steve.
Yeah, man, we spent like 3 hours there. It was pretty awesome. So, I mean, the comparison we have for Asia is we did the Singapore one a couple months ago, but I feel like this one was better. We just had a lot of fun. We were able to go on a lot of the rides, and it was pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I don't know if in the U.S. they've got the Harry Potter. I don't remember what it's called, but it's like the
They do.
castle. It's like
They do.
okay, it's like a VR roller coaster deal.
Oh, they don't.
Man.
They have the castle, but I think the rides are different.
Ah, okay. Man, I mean, maybe I'm getting old, bro, but like, they did not make rides like this when I was young. Like, this thing was crazy. Like, we were in this roller coaster thing and it was moving, but then they had a whole, like, VR sphere around us. You know what I mean? And it was like, we were falling and we were flying. It was fun, but it was a lot. But it was definitely worth the wait.
No, for sure.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
So we'll get started in about a minute or so.
Yeah, maybe Andrew, maybe it's the same one. Yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, 4D rides, that's right. Yeah, I got a little kind of nauseous. Yep, that's the one, Andrew, on the broom.
So we'll get started here in just another minute, guys. Morning, Roy. All right, should we just get started, Steve?
Sounds like a plan.
All right. Morning, everyone. Welcome back to live trading. If this is your first time on live trading, welcome. We use the webinars channel in Slack to communicate. The way that we structure live trading is simple. We talk about what's working in the market, what's not working in the market. We build the watch list live and we trade the watch list live. Really weird. Over the weekend, I didn't really get much sleep. So I've been kind of just extra tired. I don't know what the hell's going on. So probably, I think it was Saturday and Sunday, I really just didn't get any sleep at all. Like, I was just tossing and turning, and a lot of people may think, who the hell cares? But in trading, sleep is really, really important. So I always try to use the weekend to catch up on my sleep. I always use the weekend to, relax a little bit, kind of get my brain back to normal after a crazy week trading. And over the past weekend, I just really didn't. So that's just a reason that I want to kind of, be more self-aware coming into this week. I will be leaving a little bit early today, around 1 o'clock, to record another podcast. If you guys remember the Words of Wisdom podcast, I'm going to be recording another session with him today here in Miami. This is going to be a little bit more of an interactive session where we show charts, we talk about our trade strategies, and I'm going to be highlighting the first red day strategy. So it should be really, really exciting. So if anyone sends me any direct messages or anything like that after 1 p.m., I'll probably get to it by tomorrow morning. So just a heads up there. Aside from that, let's talk about the overall market. So last week, I ended the week pretty strong. All green week, 21 to 25. So all green week for about $11,000, up for about $12,000, which is great. But I think what I'm most proud of is the week before I was struggling. So the reason why I want to talk about the struggles, guys, is because anyone in the markets can make money. But the most important thing about the markets is what to do when you start losing money, right? So, it's all sunshine and rainbows when, everything's going great and you're essentially turning yourself into a money printer. But a lot of people don't talk about the other side of trading. And now, I'm not talking about a catastrophic loss. I'm not talking about anything like that. But, there was a point last week, 2 weeks ago, that I was turning winners into losers. And that's usually my signal that I'm doing something extraordinarily, extremely wrong, right? Whenever I take a winner, whatever it is, right, I just kind of get in my head. So my thought process was, after all that, I have to try to be more disciplined. I have to try to take the money. I have to stop being so greedy, and I have to start to improve my trading. Lo and behold, led to a very profitable week, including the biggest date of the month. So a lot of people think that this is voodoo magic, moon shaman type stuff, but oftentimes just talking about the problems and being able to identify what the problem is will help you fix the problem. So why did I talk about my sleep today? I talked about it because it's probably going to help me to take it a little bit slower today, right? So that's excuse me. That's number one. So we got about 3 more days left until the end of the month. So I just want to continue to trade well. I want to continue to trade the process, and I will let it all add up. So that's my trading. Now let's talk about the overall markets. So overall markets are now back to where they were before Trump's Liberation Day, where he crashed the market. So say what you want about the market, but the market is so super resilient. Everyone was calling for a great recession. Everyone was calling for a great depression. People were selling off assets faster than Michael Jackson. But lo and behold, if you just do the opposite of what everyone is telling you, you will be profitable. If you guys remember, we bought a lot of long-term stocks on the exact bottom day. The exact bottom.
Yep.
So if anyone wants to go to the watch list and just repost that watch list from that day, we got it at the exact freaking bottom. So, we're sitting pretty here on our longer term plays. The reason why I don't talk too much about longer term plays, obviously, guys, I'm not an investment advisor, and a lot of people don't have a long term horizon. But as I always mention, my horizon is about 6 months to a year or longer. It's only been 1 month, so ain't no way I'm getting out of here, right? So overall markets are back to where they were. So long as there's no new developments on the negative side, I would say we have bottomed on the overall market. Obviously, that could all change if there's a new headline or whatever it may be. But in the short term, I think we bottom. So what's the big thing about this week? So the biggest thing about this week, oh, thank you. Literally, thank you, Paige. On April 8th, lo and behold, April 8th. So anyway, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so this week is really important because this is large cap earnings week. You have Apple reporting earnings this week. You have Microsoft reporting earnings this week. You have Meta reporting earnings this week. And you have Amazon reporting earnings this week. So this is going to be a very, very, very busy week for large cap stocks. You saw what happened, right? So Netflix beat earnings. They went straight up. Tesla missed their earnings, but Elon said he's coming back to work, so they went straight up. Google beat their earnings, kind of went up, kind of came back down. So all eyes are on mega cap earnings this week, guys. So I think that there's going to be a lot of money flow in these mega cap stocks. And I think that there's probably going to be more attention on mega caps this week. But I would say that none of the earnings really matter. Obviously, it matters if they have a miss or a beat. But what everyone is focused on here is the move with China. So, yeah. Excuse me. Let me just get a drink of water. All right, I'm back. So that's the main thing to pay attention to, guys. Everyone's watching the earnings. Everyone's looking at the numbers. I do believe that, like I said, the market has bottomed out in the short term. When everyone starts calling for a recession, when everyone starts calling for a depression, when everyone is freaking out, that is the time that you want to buy. It really doesn't take a rocket scientist. It really doesn't take a genius. And then you may ask yourself, okay, Alex, I learned that I should be buying when everyone is panicking. I learned that I should be buying when everyone's calling for a recession or a depression. But why is that the case, right? So the honest answer, the answer that you probably know, that you don't want to admit, is a lot of these hedge funds, a lot of these big money, they have their pockets with the media, they have the pockets with CNBC. They want us normal people to panic so that they could buy the stock at a significantly cheaper price, right? So you look at Google, bottomed out at 140. Nvidia bottomed out at 85. Tesla bottomed out at 200s. So they are purposely getting you to panic to buy your shares for cheaper, right? Now you may think that that's a hoax. You may think it's mumbo jumbo. But if there's anything I learned, it's that the stock market is rigged, right? The market is very clearly rigged. It's not rigged for us. It's rigged for the big money. So that's why we want to join the side of big money whenever we're trading these things. Think about this. Look. It's obviously a different type of case, but look what happened in 2020. Everyone panicked. The biggest virus known to man. Stock market bottomed and literally nearly tripled since then, right? They took our shares for cheaper. Now you go back to what happened in 2008. 2008, they got everyone to panic out, and the market, 5x, 6x since then. And you go back to the dot-com boom, right? They got everyone to panic out. And then the market, 6x'd. So the thing that you have to understand about the market, guys, is the market is designed to go up, right? It's just the question of how long is your time horizon. So the next time that you hear the world panicking, the next time that you hear recession is coming, the next time that Jim Cramer comes out and says Black Monday is coming, right? Black Monday is what Jim Cramer said on this rebound day. Jim Cramer bottomed the market when he said it was Black Monday that day. Market's up, 20-25% since. So that's just a lesson on these overall long-term plays. I try not to be as vocal on it, obviously, because I'm not an investment advisor. I'm just doing what I want to do. But so long as you were there that day, everything should be up 20-25%. So anyway. So let's talk about the overall market today. Not the overall market. Let's talk about the small cap market today. Now let's build a watch list. So as you guys know, the way that we build the watch list, we always go the previous day's watch list first and build from there. So before I go off on that, I want to talk about this GLMD trade. So GLMD, I saw it pop and drop pre-market. I ended up shorting the bounce, and I noticed that the stock really wasn't coming down. So the stock really wasn't coming down, so I started covering the dips, reshorting the bounces, covering the dips. Saw it create a double top, shorted, cover the dips. And I kind of felt myself over trading the stock a little bit. I felt myself kind of deviating a little bit. So I said, you know what? Let me just take the money off the table. Let me just walk away from the stock, and let me just wait until the market opened and then attack it. And lo and behold, it broke support and it's kind of come back down. So I missed the fader here. I probably ended up having a little bit of a break-even trade here. But hopefully I'll look for a nice bounce at the market open to get my revenge on this stock. And this stock started to pull when MLGO started to go crazy. So MLGO, I hate this stock, man. I lose on this stock every single time it moves. They put SSR on, they manipulate the hell out of it, they make it look strong, and then they tank it, they make it look weak, and then they ramp it. So I've never been able to really make money on this stock. So I don't know, I just don't get it. So I'm probably just going to avoid that. But overall, a lot of the money flow, a lot of the action is going to be in the large cap names. So just going to take it slow and focus on my process. So as you guys know, the way that we build the watch list, we always go the previous day's watch list first and build from there. So let's start. LGCB. LGCB, the volume is done, the range is done, so not really much opportunities there. AREB, this stock has been holding actually very strong, oddly enough. Kind of just been consolidating. So not really interested in trading this AREB. It's just been holding off, holding strong a little bit longer than expected. OLB, same thing, no volume, no range, so nothing really there. OMEX, so OMEX was very, very weak pre-market, and I think they had a press release that came out to pump up the stock. So this is a void. This stock has just been a very, very strong multi-day runner. It is at previous day's resistance, and it might break out. So OMEX looked weak pre-market, but ended up having a press release to pump it up. It is too close to previous day's high day, so I am most likely ignoring the short on this. So it's OMEX, MGRX, no volume, no range. CEP, probably no edge until it's under the previous day's low of the day. So what's the previous day's low? Like 28-ish. So probably an ignore. CEP, ignore until 28 support breaks and bounces fail. What else is there? ACRV, no volume, no range. Nothing there. Let's see what's moving today. GLMD. So GLMD, like I mentioned, I traded this pre-market, got out, break even. So probably looking for a bounce today. So GLMD, tried trading this pre-market, ended up break even. I am looking for a bounce toward 280, 3 and 322 short. If this breaks over pre-market high day, I will ignore it short. Next is INEO. So this one is big move up, kind of coming back down. What's the float on this one? INEO. What the hell is the float? You guys have the float on this shit? Oh, SAG. Okay, thank you. Ticker change. Thank you, guys. So just looking at the resistance areas here, guys, I see about 225-ish. So 225. I see 265. And probably $3. So INEO, looking for a bounce toward 225, 265, and $3 too short. THAR, no, nothing really here. Pop and drop. IVF, this one might be good if we bounce back towards VWAP. So IVF, looking for a VWAP push too short. MYNZ, pop and drop, nothing there. SNTI, maybe a bounce, but probably towards 6 or 650. So SNTI, 650 too short. SPCB, big pop and drop. SPCB, big pop and drop, probably 9, 10, and 11 to short. Wide range, so use less size. And then that brings us to, last but not least, MLGO. MLGO, I do see obviously key support here around 990. MLGO, key supports 990. This stock is always super difficult for me to trade. So most likely ignoring the short unless it fails and can't bounce. AMPY. Let's see. AMPY, nothing looks too exciting here. Maybe a bounce towards this resistance area, but I think that there's a lot easier setups today. So I'll just kind of let that do its thing. And Sabre has not even come down at all. It's just kind of up and consolidating. So there's zero edge here, I would say. So just because the stock is up on the day, guys, does not mean it's a short. It has to at least have some sort of trend, volume, something. But this one's just up and doing nothing. So nothing really there. But main watch is probably going to be this GLMD on bounces to shorts. Maybe if we could get some of the other stocks to bounce as well. MLGO I'm sure will be very, very tempting. So I'm going to try very hard not to trade that unless it's very, very obvious. But aside from that, guys, just going to take it easy. Just want to trade well, stick to the process, and I know that the market will reward me if I do that. So that's all I got for now. And I guess I'll pass the baton over to Steven right now and let him take it from here. So Steven, the floor is yours, my friend.
Well, sounds good. So I thought I'd just kind of do a Q&A today and maybe talk about Friday's session. If you guys have anything specific you want to ask or talk about, I'm in. Otherwise, I think we could just kind of talk about Friday. Do a kind of
one more thing, Steven. Let me, if there's no real topic ready yet, let me just say one more thing, and then I'll kind of give you the floor. We're going to be announcing the formal landing page for the Meetup coming up in August. And that'll include the hotel information, the hotel bookings, the discounted rates, and the tickets to purchase the private dinner with me and Bao, which is going to be at a new location this year, and the tickets to come to the Epic Universe private tour with me and Bao for 8 hours, skip all the lines and do all that. What I want to do is, if anyone is in live trading, because there's only going to be 9 tickets available for both of these things. The dinner will have 9 people, and the Universal private tour will have 9 people. So before I release that link publicly to our members and to non-members, I wanted to have you guys get first grabs. So if you are interested in coming to the private dinner with me and Bao, or you are interested in coming to the Universal private tour, just send me a direct message and I'll get to it after live trading and I'll send you the link, because I think that these are going to probably sell out really, really quick. As you guys know, the event is free for lifetime members, and we use the proceeds from the private dinner and the proceeds from the Universal tour to help pay for the event. So if you're interested in coming to the private dinner, if you're interested in coming to the Universal tour, just send me a direct message and I will give you guys the tickets first, because I'm nearly certain that the moment that I publicize this, it's going to be out of here. So Yeah, shoot me a direct message and I'll get to it after live trading. But Steven, again, floor is yours, man.
Sure thing. So, and I'd say on that, guys, to DM Alex like right away after live trading, because I don't see those lasting. I don't know how many you said you had, Alex, 10 or
I have
so, but
nine of each.
yeah, I mean, that's not gonna last. I mean, I even told like my wife today when we were at Universal, I'm like, man, we should just buy two of those. Like, these are gonna go so fast. Just DM Alex after live trades if you guys want them. So, anyways, yeah, don't wait, guys. So real quick, we got a couple minutes. I don't know, I just thought it'd be kind of fun to go over, Friday's trades. I know a lot of you guys nailed AREB, and a lot of guys are watching us plan these trades in on YouTube, but we don't really get a chance to recap them all the time. So I thought I'd just kind of run through this real quick. Plus, they're kind of good to see, what we might have done right, what we might have done wrong. If you guys want me to review charts or talk about anything or have any questions, feel free to post as well. So Friday, one sec. Friday, Alex had on his watch list that he was basically kind of watching to see how 4-5 and 4-7 acted before he placed the trade. Here's what the chart looked like right before the market opened. So I don't have the numbers on there, but that's basically 4-5, and the top is I think around 4-7. So this is what it looked like pretty much at the open. Then at the open, I'm just gonna kind of post my trade here of what it actually did and how I traded it. So at the open, it came up to 4-5. It rejected it pretty nicely. I started, uh, shorting into it, adding to the winner as it went in my direction. So what I did on this is I kind of had a plan. I had cover areas around 410, which was kind of that opening support area, the low, and then around 3.9 to 4, which was around red to green. And 4 is always just kind of a key number, right? So what I usually do when I'm trading, I'm going to try to wrap this up. We've only got a couple minutes left, so I'll try to make it quick. What I usually try to do is I try to identify 2, sometimes 3 cover zones. But no matter what, if 3 is a little far, I always have 2 in mind, right? So I like to see how the first test works, the second one, and if it doesn't work, I'll usually just try to cover out on the first support if we don't get to the second one. So here's what ended up happening here. We shorted in, started adding to the winner. I identified a couple other lines that it seemed to break down further, so I kept adding into it. Maybe I should have ended up covering in hindsight, but I didn't. It popped a little bit, then it did drop and give me that wash that I was looking for towards uh, uh, opening lows around 410. Then we popped back up. I took off about half, which I usually tell you guys that I like to take off about half on my first set of covers, and that's just so that I could kind of have a lot of profits locked in. If it keeps going, I could always add back, or I could see how much we have and maybe cover more or add back depending on the range it has. If it pops, I could add it back if it looks like it's going to work, right? So I always like to just take off a lot more on the first covers. We popped that first VWAP test, then we got a pretty clean wash, and again, I took off a good amount around my first cover zone 410. But then I was kind of keeping that second one in mind, so I held it a little bit longer. Luckily, we got there and I was able to cover it out. Now, as you guys probably remember, this ticker, actually, here's what ended up happening. Ended up really crashing, right? I don't remember how low it got, but it crashed pretty well below red to green. So left a little bit of profits on the table. I think a lot of us did, but key is we had a really nice, easy trade, added to the winner, not the loser, and we waited to get involved after it rejected our key levels. So that's it. We've only got a little bit left, so I don't want to keep going too much. I'll just hand it back over to Alex. But yeah, I think it was a pretty clean trade. I'm glad to see a lot of you guys did well on it on Friday. You there, Alex?